"We will build a great wall, and nobody builds walls better than me, believe me." These words, echoing through campaign rallies in 2016, became synonymous with Donald Trump's presidential bid. His promise to build a wall along the US-Mexico border was more than just a physical barrier, it was a symbol of his broader immigration policy. But the wall was just one element of a larger promise, to deport millions of undocumented immigrants living in the United States. This ambitious and controversial plan aimed to reshape the nation's approach to immigration enforcement. This vow, steeped in controversy, ignited fierce debate and continues to cast a long shadow over the American political landscape. The promise of mass deportations and a fortified border wall polarized the nation, drawing sharp lines between supporters and opponents. Trump's promise tapped into a wellspring of anxiety among some Americans concerned about border security and the perceived strain of illegal immigration on the economy and social services. For many, the wall represented a solution to what they saw as a growing problem. His rhetoric, often inflammatory and divisive, resonated with voters who felt unheard by the political establishment. They saw Trump as a champion of their concerns, someone who would take decisive action where others had failed. However, his words also sparked fear and outrage among immigrant communities and their allies, who viewed his proposals as inhumane and discriminatory. The prospect of mass deportations and family separations created a climate of fear and uncertainty. The stage was set for a bitter battle over one of the most contentious issues facing the nation: what to do about the millions of undocumented immigrants living in the shadows of American society. The debate over immigration policy became a defining issue of Trump's presidency, with both sides digging in their heels. America's history with immigration is long and complex. From the early days of Ellis Island to the modern era, the nation has been shaped by waves of immigrants seeking a better life. The promise of the American dream has always been a powerful draw, but it has also been accompanied by periods of resistance and exclusion. In 1986, President Ronald Reagan signed the Immigration Reform and Control Act, which granted amnesty to millions of undocumented immigrants while also strengthening border security. This bipartisan effort was seen as a comprehensive solution to the immigration issue, but it also highlighted the ongoing challenges of balancing enforcement with compassion. 2 decades later, President George W. Bush signed the Secure Fence Act of 2006, which authorized the construction of hundreds of miles of fencing along the US-Mexico border. This legislation aimed to enhance border security, but it also underscored the persistent and evolving nature of the immigration debate. In 2013, a bipartisan group of senators known as the Gang of Eight introduced a comprehensive immigration reform bill that sought to address border security, provide a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants, and reform the legal immigration system. Despite initial momentum, the bill ultimately stalled in Congress, reflecting the deep divisions over how to address the issue. Under Trump's administration, the immigration debate reached new heights of intensity. The implementation of policies such as family separations at the border drew widespread condemnation and sparked protests across the country. Images of children in detention centers became a powerful symbol of the human cost of the administration's hardline approach. The 2020 presidential election brought immigration policy back into the spotlight. Joe Biden campaigned on a promise to reverse many of Trump's policies and pursue a more humane approach to immigration. His victory signaled a potential shift in the nation's approach, but the deep divisions over the issue remain. In his first days in office, President Biden signed a series of executive orders aimed at undoing some of Trump's most controversial immigration policies. These actions included halting the construction of the border wall, ending the travel ban on several predominantly Muslim countries, and establishing a task force to reunite separated families. Despite these efforts, the path forward remains fraught with challenges. Immigration advocates continue to push for comprehensive reform, while opponents argue for stricter enforcement. The debate over how to balance security, compassion, and the rule of law continues to shape the nation's political landscape. As the nation grapples with these complex issues, one thing remains clear. The story of immigration is deeply intertwined with the story of America itself. The nation's strength lies in its diversity, and the ongoing debate over immigration will continue to shape its future.
Trump's promise to deport millions raised a fundamental question. Could it be done, and at what cost?
One side shows a Trump rally with supporters cheering. One side shows a Trump rally with supporters cheering.
The other side shows a protest against Trump's immigration policies.
You know, for many of us, it's about protecting our borders and ensuring the safety of our communities. We believe in the rule of law and that those who break it should face the consequences. It's not about being heartless, it's about being practical and putting America first.
The debate over mass deportation is not just about numbers. It's about people's lives, families, and futures. Behind every statistic, there is a human being with a unique story, a dream that they have nurtured, and a hope for a brighter future. These are not just faceless figures, they are our neighbors, our friends, and our community members. Each statistic represents a person with a story, a dream, and a hope for a better life. These individuals have often left everything behind in search of safety, opportunity, and a chance to build a new life. They bring with them rich cultures, traditions, and a strong desire to contribute to their new home. It's about the children who might be separated from their parents. These young ones, who have known no other home, face the terrifying prospect of being torn from the only family they have ever known. The emotional and psychological impact on these children can be profound and long-lasting, and the communities that could be torn apart. Communities that have been built on the foundation of diversity and inclusion, where people from different backgrounds come together to support one another, could be shattered. The bonds of friendship and solidarity that have been formed over years could be broken, leaving a void that is difficult to fill. The debate over mass deportation is not just a political issue, it is a deeply human one that affects us all.
It's about the very soul of a nation built on immigration grappling with its identity in an increasingly interconnected world. We need to find solutions that honor our history and reflect our values, while also addressing the real concerns of our citizens. It's a delicate balance, but one we must strive to achieve. As we navigate these complex issues, many questions remain unanswered. The landscape of immigration is ever-changing, and with each new policy, new uncertainties arise. Communities across the nation are feeling the impact, and the ripple effects are being felt far and wide. What will the future hold for those caught in the crossfire of these policies? Families are being separated, dreams are being deferred, and lives are hanging in the balance. The human cost of these decisions is immeasurable, and the emotional toll is profound. How will our nation reconcile its past with its present challenges? The history of immigration in America is a story of hope and hardship, of dreams realized and dreams deferred. As we look back, we must also look forward, asking ourselves how we can honor our past while addressing the needs of the present. The path forward is uncertain, but one thing is clear. The decisions we make today will shape the America of tomorrow. Our choices will determine the kind of nation we become and the legacy we leave for future generations. It is a time for reflection, for action, and for a renewed commitment to the values that define us as a nation.